Welcome back. Today we will start the final chapter, that is chapter number 9 from Civics, that is urban livelihoods. As we saw in the previous chapter, which we talked about rural livelihoods, I would like to bring us to notice again this topic that we are studying is not a kind of exclusive topic. Now, what we will try to understand today is to have a broader understanding between the history, geography, and civics. When we see in history, we talked about agriculture, revolution, and later on this revolution moved on to industrial revolution. Agriculture revolution moved on to industrial revolution. Clear? When we talked about geography, we talked about various sectors of economy. We talked about various sectors of economy. Various sectors of economy: primary sector, secondary sector, and third sector is tertiary sector, sectors of the economy. And when we talked about civics, we would understand how agriculture revolution and industrial revolution help in the real existence of the urban livelihood. Urban livelihood. So, when there was faith in agriculture revolution, you had lots of things that were coming under agriculture. Later on, you had industrial revolution that started. So, you have a kind of mass movement of people from the field of agriculture to the industries. Similarly, when we talk about primary activity, we are concerned with, when we talk about primary activity, we are concerned with agriculture. We are concerned with agriculture. Clear? And when we talk about secondary activity, we focus on manufacturing activities. Clear? And finally, when we talk about tertiary activity, we focus on services. Clear? When we talk about primary activities, we will concern agriculture activities, and when we will talk about secondary activities, we would like to understand manufacturing, and when we talk about tertiary activities, we focus on services, and that services which are provided in the urban livelihood. The major difference between rural livelihood and urban livelihood lies in the type of economic activities. We have already talked about in the previous chapter that rural livelihood revolves around agriculture, and urban livelihood revolves around secondary and tertiary activities. Secondary activities and tertiary activities, that is manufacturing and services. Clear, children? Children, just look at the book. What do you see in this picture? What do you see in this picture? Yes, children. It is a busy street seen in a city with hawkers and vendors, various type of vehicles like bicycles, buses, rickshaw pullers, trucks are playing on the roads. The people are busy buying goods and some people are trying to board the bus. The people in the rural areas mostly work in the fields or they go to catch fish which is sold by the women folk. In the cities, there are hawkers, vendors, rickshaw pullers, and vegetable sellers and so on. Some parts of the cities, just look at the book. Some parts of the cities have high-rise buildings. Some parts of the cities are crowded and congested, which are occupied by vendors and shops. Clear, children? So let's talk about number of include in urban livelihood. Firstly, we will talk about Bachchu Manji. We will talk about Bachchu Manji. Clear? So let's start. Bachchu Manji, he came from a village in Bihar. Here in Bihar, he did not get missionary work regularly. The income that he earned was not sufficient for his family. And Bachchu Manji came to the city to find work. Here he is a rickshaw puller and earns about rupees 100 per day. and if he takes leave, he will not be able to earn money for himself and his family. In a survey of Ahmedabad city, it was found that 12% of all the workers in a city were people working on the street. They sometimes sell things or repair them or provide a service. Next, we will talk about a vegetable vendor. Vegetable vendor, early in the morning, he goes to the vegetable mandi. He goes to the vegetable mandi. He buys seasonal vegetables in bigger quantities. He also buys some special vegetable but in small proportion. He brings the vegetables, clean them with the water and arranges different vegetables like tomatoes, carrot, cauliflowers, cucumbers in basket at the stall so that people can see what vegetables are available. He sits in the stall with weights and money box and waits for the customer. He has to tell the price to each vegetable. Tell the price to each vegetable which the customers ask for. Sometimes he reduces the price for the regular customers. He also gives green chilies in the winter season and when the vegetables purchased are in large quantities. In the afternoon, he has to cover the vegetable with wet jute cloth. He has a phone and receives orders from the customers. Next, we will talk about hawkers. The hawker is a person who arranges his things or wares on a trolley and goes from place to place. He goes from place to place to sell his things. He buys the articles like water bottles, lunch boxes, small toys, hairpins and clips from a nearby factory. He also displays some goods garments which are on loan from the factory. If he is not able to sell it, he returns them to the factory. Clear, children? Next we will talk about Harpreet and Vandana. Harpreet, both are business persons. Harpreet and Vandana, they are business persons. In Vandana is a dress designer. And Harpreet knew how to manage the shop. They opened a showroom and the business had changed. The people preferred to buy ready-made clothes rather than have them stitched. Clear, children? To run the showroom, the garments need an attractive display. Harpreet and they buys things from different places, the materials from Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Ludhiana and Tripura. Some materials also come from Noida and Gurgaon, towns near Delhi. And advertisements have to be put in the newspaper, cinema theatres, television and radio channels. The shopkeeper purchases goods. Next we will talk about shopkeeper. Shopkeeper purchases goods from different places and tries to have a variety and latest goods introduced in the market. He displays and advertises his goods. He is very polite to the customers. He also hears to the genuine complaints of the customers and sometimes replaces the articles. There is a stiff competition in the market. Shopkeepers give discounts and organize sales. Children, next we will talk about in the factory workshop area. In the factory workshop area. In this chapter, in the workshop area, we will consider Nirmala. Clear, children? The people, the working condition of the people like Nirmala, they have long working hours, like 12 hours a day. 12 hours a day. They start working at 9 a.m. and finish only by 10 p.m. Sometimes even later. Nirmala works for 6 days a week. At times when there is more work or there is an urgent need, she works on Sundays also. The working place in small workshop, people working in a small room on swing machines where cloth was being stitched. Clothes that had been stitched were stacked on one side of the room, and the workers who worked in workshop area are paid rupees 80 per day for 8 hours and rupees 40 extra for working late. There is no job security. And the casual workers, Nirmala is a casual worker. Casual workers are employed when there is more work depending upon the season or when orders are received. Domestic workers like housemaids are not casual workers. Domestic workers are not casual workers. Housemaids get monthly payment, food and house to live. They may also be given some medical help when needed. They work throughout the year. The workday for the housemaids start early in the morning. They perform all household works like cleaning the house, washing clothes, cooking food and cleaning the utensils. Housemaids may get some rest hours in the afternoon. The working hour ends about 10 p.m. Next, we will talk about in the office area. In the office area. In this chapter, we will consider here Sudha. Clear, children? Sudha. Listen very carefully. Sudha is a permanent worker. Sudha is a permanent worker and regular job, and she gets monthly salary and number of other benefits. Clear? She is having Sundays are holidays, national days are holidays, medical benefits up to a certain limit for her and her family. She gets medical leave if she falls ill. She also gets some days as annual leave. As annual leaves. Savings for the old age. A part of her salary is kept in a fund with the government. She will earn interest on these savings. When she retires from this job, she will get this money and she can live well on that money. Being a permanent worker with the company, she can expect her job to continue for a long period of time. For a long period of time. Clear, children? So, this completes the explanation of the chapter. I hope you understood it. Thank you.